So as of making this video, I have been in the design industry for over 12 years, and for 6 of those, I have been a design recruitment agency freelancer. Up until now, my career has had 2 quite distinct sides, working as a full-time designer and working as a design recruitment agency freelancer, and they couldn't have been more different. Going DRA freelance has not only changed my career, but has launched it to the point where I am now typically leading my own projects and getting amazing opportunities. In this video, I'm going to discuss the experience I had earlier on in my design career and the reasons and decisions that led me to go DRA freelance. So I graduated from Kingston University in London back in May 2006, where I studied graphic design. Now, after graduating, instead of returning home to South Wales, I decided to continue to stay on in London to pursue my career. From the university accommodation, I would then rent a house with some friends in South London, and with all the expenses that incurred, I needed to find a job pretty quickly. So after a while, doing lots of internships and temporary work, it was not until March 2007 when I got my first job. Now, this job was not particularly exciting, but at the time, with bills to pay, it was a job which I was grateful to have. This was an in-house design role for a relatively large financial conglomerate. Now, the plan was to work at the job for a year or so, build some experience and try and find a better job. Though for the first few years I struggled. I just wasn't getting the experience I needed. I was not getting the opportunity to create interesting work I was proud of, which I thought demonstrated what I was capable of and what I really wanted to do. I went to interview after interview, only to be told I did not have the experience. I guess at that point, perhaps my work was not that great either. It was a tough time, but I stayed hungry. To help alleviate the problem, I would undertake my own projects and work in my spare time to add more interesting work to my portfolio. And eventually this did pay off. After a while, I would leave that job and get another full-time job, though this time for a marketing agency. Now, this was somewhat of an improvement. I was not working on financial clients anymore. I had a small pay rise and I was working with more experienced designers. However, there turned out to be no creative prospects, no room to progress, and we only worked on one main client, so not a lot of creative variety. I reached the glass ceiling pretty quickly there. After about a year, I was still somewhat dissatisfied with the work and the experience I was getting and the lack of creative prospects. At this point, I would have been about 6 years into full time. I was dissatisfied with my level of experience and income. I was frustrated at the lack of creative opportunities I was getting, and I was also unhappy with the work in my portfolio. To help alleviate this, I managed to find a few extra clients I could do some more creative work for, which did prove valuable as it added more interesting work to my portfolio. However, being ambitious, I still didn't think I was going anywhere, so I continued to interview for what I thought were more interesting design roles. But again, with no success. I was constantly told I did not have the right experience or level of experience. So the big problem was experience. How was I going to get experience? I no longer wanted to take baby steps and make a big commitment working for another studio with a small pay rise only to experience the same problem. I was beginning to think that full-time employment was detrimental to my career growth and life experience. I needed an opportunity. So my conclusion, working at one studio was not the solution. It was not giving me the experience I needed. So after some thought, I decided to take the plunge and go freelance. But not solo freelance and manage my own clients. Instead, I called up lots of design recruitment agencies and discussed options with them. I went to several interviews which were particularly positive. I learned exactly what I needed to do and then handed in my notice at my employers. After a month's notice, I was no longer a full-time employed designer. Now I was a DRA freelancer with more control of what I was going to do from then on, and have been until today. So the main reasons that drove me personally to go freelance were: I was dissatisfied with the work I was doing, I was dissatisfied with the lack of creative opportunities, no promotion prospects, I was not particularly happy with my salary, and I was dissatisfied with the lack of experience I was getting. Now, this may not always be the case for some designers. I have lots of designer friends who have been pretty happy in their employment roles for years, working at good studios with good people and enjoying the creative work they do with great prospects and promotions. Though for me personally, this route did not work out. I couldn't leave my progress in the hands of full-time employers. I had to take matters into my own hands. Now, I think today this is a similar situation for a lot of designers early in their career. To get work, we need experience, and when we are new to the industry, it's hard to get that experience. A lot of us can be lucky with our opportunities, and some not so much. But today, we are fortunate that we can create our own luck and create our own opportunities. As designers, we don't need to stick with employers if it's not working out. There are other ways, and Design Recruitment Agency Freelance is a way. So, what about you guys? Have you experienced anything similar? Are you currently full-time and looking to go freelance? Where are you in your career right now, and have you thought about going DRA freelance? Let me know your thoughts and share your experiences in the comment section below. So as I mentioned earlier, I have been a DRA freelancer now for over 6 years, and the experience has been amazing. In the next video, I will be discussing why I stayed DRA freelance and why I would recommend it to you. So see you in the next video.